Hey there, and welcome back to the Second Lunch Podcast. We are not bothering with episode numbers any longer. We're just glad you're listening. Cole remembered his koozie today. Damn it, I fucking forgot. Actually, while we're at it, show him the stickers too, Cole. We got stickers now. You can order those on the store.
Yeah, coming to a bathroom stall near you.
Yeah, right. We're gonna vandalize some bathrooms with these. Maybe a stop sign or two.
That's how Rogan got big.
So yeah, you can buy those on our Shopify store, or if you buy a koozie, I'll just send you a sticker as well. I don't care. Got to unload some of these koozies. Fuck, dude. Today, we have to take stairs to get up to the studio. It's only one flight, but I nearly had Jake get the elevator key because I started lifting again this week.
Oh yeah,
for the first time in 3 months. We've just been
Good
moving and stuff, like, whatever. And so all I did so far was chest and back. I hit deadlifts pretty hard, and my legs are like, my hamstrings in particular are like, because I was just thinking like, oh, doing the same weight I was before. I guess I'm just that fucking athletic. I guess I'm just that fucking strong. And then now I'm not gonna say the word crippled. Yeah,
but you're
absolutely
immobilized
crippled.
in some way. Yeah, you're not
absolutely toast.
Not taking elevation change. Okay, so with your legs in that current state, does that mean that you're skipping leg day this week? Or
I'm probably gonna have to skip leg day this week.
I have taken to using skipping leg day as a euphemism for all skipped things that you were supposed to do. Like flunk out of high school. Like, dude wasn't going to math, man.
Really skipped leg day on math there.
Could not have skipped it harder. Whatever the leg day equivalent of long division is, he fucking pooched it, man. There's no way. When I get out of my... Never mind. I'm not even going to go down the keto road, just thinking of every time I fucked up my diet in my life. Well, no leg day on that one.
I like that that's like the opposite. No, it's exactly the same as skipping leg day. Yeah. Fucking
when I crack into my third snack pack.
Yeah.
I impulse bought snack packs the other day, they just spoke to me. Not as good as I remember.
Oh, you can't do that with... You know what I found? Do you ever have Dunkaroos?
No, what is that? I'm interested in anything that ends with a
so
ruse.
It's like this... Basically, you're dipping a cookie into chocolate. Perfect thing for a kid to have. You know what I mean? I found them the other day, and I was like, well, I'm getting that. I also found Dad's root beer. Did you ever have that?
Oh, yeah.
Love me some. I found that at Costco, and I was like, I picked up 2 cases and didn't even say a fucking word. And Katie's like, what are you doing? You didn't even drink pop. I was like, I'm getting fucking root beer. I don't care what you say.
Have you gone through them quickly, or do you, like, if I buy a 12-pack of soda, that's going to last me
I'm keeping
like
them
6 months.
in the downstairs garage fridge on purpose so that I'm not just fucking ripping through them, because I would stop drinking water and only drink that until they were gone if they were too accessible.
Jesus, yeah, your liver's going to be, your pancreas is going to feel that.
So I'm keeping those downstairs, and so far I've still
Are you
got
working
like
out
6.
at the new space, or are you still doing that at your dad's spot?
Yeah, we moved the whole gym into our new place.
Oh, nice.
And so yeah, working out there, scaring my neighbors with my death metal while I'm lifting.
Yeah. It's a lot of Cannibal Corpse for those deadlifts.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been nice. Let's hop into some Tinderella. We got a lot today.
Yeah, you got it. What would be your signature dish if you had to impress somebody?
If they're impressed by peanut butter and banana sandwiches, I'm your guy.
Okay, so you're fucking Elvis is what you're talking. Getting it.
No, my go-to, because it's easy and seems like it's not, spaghetti. I make a good spaghetti sauce. It's very meaty, so probably not fucking any vegetarians, but yeah, I guess mine would be spaghetti, although I kind of don't like slurping noodles in front of people.
No,
have you ever eaten with somebody who like doesn't want you to see them slurping the noodles, so they like put their hand in front of their mouth while they're... It's the most adorable thing in the world.
I know what you're doing there. Yeah. You're not hiding anything. No, that's a good one, and that's a classic. First of all, to circle to that point, I will say burritos are the one for me where it's like, I can't eat this in front of Ashley. This is gonna get hectic. Well, especially like my preferred burrito, like your mission style in the foil. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have we got a lot of potential for messy hand here.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I'm trying to do something that requires me to put in like some weird culinary effort, like a little more than like the 20-minute weeknight dinner. So, but that doesn't mean I'm so great that I could whip up a whole bunch of crazy shit. So like one thing I would go to is the jalapeno bacon macaroni and cheese. You know, make your own homemade roux and then throw a bunch of, you know, milk and cheese in there. And it's not difficult, but it requires just enough effort.
Is this a prank on me? Are you trying to get me turned on right now? Live on the pod? Because it worked.
That's what I make for any potluck or anything. So I had two...
Sick, dude.
Ashley
when are we
and I
having
had
a fucking potlatch? Let's fucking go.
July 8th, dude.
Perfect.
The
Let's
barbecue.
invite everybody.
Yeah, there you go. All 3 listeners. Get the guy over here from fucking Sweden or whatever. But yeah, we went to 2 barbecues for Memorial Day, and I brought a pan of that to both of them. So, yeah, that'd probably be my go-to.
Hot damn.
Yeah. I feel like I've grilled enough steaks at home / on the grill that I could cook somebody's steak pretty perfectly without, you know, to whatever they're, even if they want something nuts, like well done, you know. But yeah, they want medium rare, capable. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have that many.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that's always fucking around with the crock pot and Instant Pot, and then dinner comes out like a B-, and I cook a lot of B- dinners, I'll say that. Ashley is the more talented cook in the house. How confidently do you think you could ride a camel?
Not at all.
Same.
I don't even...
You're greasy, confidently riding.
Greasy. Anybody who's confidently riding a camel, I'm a little bit.
You're not near my
of.
BMI. You're not in my
well,
zone.
for sure. I don't even trust that. You can see the entirety of their kneecaps. It's just like bone, kneecap, more bone.
Yeah.
Up to this big fucking. I don't understand how their legs are not just folding in half all the let alone with me getting on top of them.
And as I get fatter, I get more of a sense of vertigo or twisted sense of reality. So they're like the Salvador Dali paintings of the elephants, where they're on like 200-foot stilt legs. Clearly, I can't get on this. Should say no type 2 diabetics allowed.
I should not be that high off the ground at
I'm
any
off
point.
Insulin. Nah, dude. If you were ever on insulin, no.
Oh yeah, so not confident. I mean, there's chairs I don't trust still. So
yeah. So okay, similar topic. What about a horse? Say there was a Clydesdale. You know, the largest horses there are. Do you think that you could ever?
This is probably going to make people mad. I'm not about horses. I don't understand why they exist.
Oh,
honestly.
It's not. I mean, if we were in Europe,
no,
we'd be
actually,
them.
you know what? I get. Like, just if they're just out in the wild, it's like kind of cool to just see a horse. Like if you're,
if the way as God intended,
right? If you've ever just been driving out in the middle of nowhere, like I have so many times between comedy gigs, and like you just see wild horses, you're like, okay, that's pretty sick. But like riding a horse, or like people who are
you're probably describing people's horses that are just outside, because I've never seen like true wild horses running around. That's a special sight.
Yeah, you've never seen that in Montana.
That
made me go from thinking horses were just dumb, because also like my exposure to horses part of this is like, did you ever go to school with people who are like horse people?
Oh yeah,
they like were like pretending to be horses at recess and just being fucking weird.
Oh well, I mean, I had friends that used to do pony fight, where you know you put your hands behind your back and try to headbutt the other guy. Oh, we're talking about something different. We were pretty high.
I like where this is headed. Sounds more like a seahorse though.
Anyways, I'll get back to
again.
you on that
we were pretty high, but yeah, I don't know. I've been horseback riding a couple times in my life prior to the age of 16, before I started really packing on the lbs.
Yeah, when it was still reasonable.
Yeah,
at the age of 14, I was just a 25-year-old weight wise.
Not a bit, very real. But. Yeah, I don't know. It's not even so much as like I'm worried about me getting on the horse. The poor fucking horse.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it been through enough? It has to pull fucking Budweiser around all day, and I'm getting on its back.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, part of the reason I think people do really like horses or feel that connection, they feel like they're very intelligent. You know, you look into their eyes and that's just a dumb fucking animal. But
hang
some
out
people
with a
think
monkey. Well, that's not as...
They're a little closer to the whole evolutionary chain. But yeah, Shit, where was I going with that? It's going to be a great podcast.
I don't know. I got sidetracked myself after I said monkey. Just started thinking about monkeys, so I got lost as well.
Oh, that's why we have editing. But yeah, I'm to circle back. I'm in the exact same boat as you. I could not confidently ride a camel because I've had people on a few occasions in my life pick me up.
Oh.
And I don't feel confident about that, and I'm not even the one doing it. You know, it's my weight is in somebody else's hands.
That's funny because I'm a pick people up guy myself. Like when I see people, I don't know if I'm excited enough, I pick people up like without even thinking about it.
Reasonable.
But sometimes I'll get somebody coming up to me that's like, "I'm going to try to pick you up," and I'm like, "I am even heavier than I look. You should not try. You will get injured. I can't allow you to do this." And they'll do it anyway. Yeah, it drives me. It scares the shit out of me because I'm always like this, like I have my hands up, like ready for them to go straight backwards and me to have to try to catch both.
There's a reason that the first like 4 months when you start judo, you just learn how to fall because the guy trying to do that to you, you gotta not shatter your arm when that happens. So yeah, I mean, it's a very reasonable reaction. But also, if you weigh $150, it's a lot different than you weigh what I weigh.
I do not weigh $150. I'll say that much.
All right, Chris, what's your desert island book?
This is a good question because I don't have a great answer. Whatever has the most nudity in it, pictures of nudity.
Oh,
don't give me descriptions. I don't want to read about people getting it on. I'm a very visual person. I don't want you to describe to me what the boobs look like.
You want King Farouk's tie collection.
I want King Farouk's tie collection. I guess, so that is my desert island book, is King Farouk's tie collection.
All right. Interesting. Very out of left field sort of pick there. I'm going Infinite Jest because it's a goddamn tomb and I can read it again, but I don't have a funny answer for this. But yeah, that's the one I'm going with just for sheer length of book. If I'm stuck on the desert island, I've read it, I've enjoyed it. I'll get down with Hal and Candenza again.
God, I'm stuck on a desert island. Why would I make it worse by reading? I want to look at boobies or something. I'll even look at dicks. Give me something. Let me look at something.
Yeah, but see, Chris,
I can't just see the same shit all day. Getting stuck on a desert island would suck.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't a
saying desert island too. Deserted.
This is. Well, you didn't say desert island.
Now there, I would go there.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to stick me
Give
there,
me some sort of Willy Wonka universe where I'm eating a teacup that's made out of an ice cream cone. Fucking fire it up. But okay, so then life is sucking ass on the desert island. You don't have your nipple book. What's your desert island album?
Oh, I was thinking I would want to pick something that like everybody knows, like Appetite for Destruction. That would be a good one, right? But then I started thinking like, how many times? I mean, there's already been times where I'm like, I can't hear Paradise City again, or I'm gonna fucking hit somebody.
Yeah,
you know
anybody that's played the game Burnout Paradise knows that song comes on an abnormal.
Also,
amount,
how fucking annoying would it be? You're on an island by yourself. And you hear Paradise City come on. Such a slap in the face.
Yeah, Axl Rose yelling, "Take me home." I fucking know.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. This is why I need Wilson.
So I decided to go with an album called The Mortal Coil by my favorite band, Polaris. It's metal. It's screaming. I figured I would identify more with screaming. If I was stuck on an island by myself, I would identify with screaming a lot more than...
Right, lyrics about isolation and such. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
I've got it narrowed down to 2. So my all-time favorite album is Liquid Swords by Jizza. I do feel like enough time on a desert island, I would feel a bit detached from these graphic descriptions of drug dealing life in the East Coast, where there's like lyrics about somebody having drugs surgically implanted in his calf so he can get through airport security. And I'm like, I've been trying to chop down that coconut tree for about 6 hours.
Oh,
I no longer understand what LaGuardia Airport is. The other one would be Guided by Voices, B1000, probably. It'd be between those two because that's, some good beer drinking guitar rock. But again, I think Liquid Swords might better represent the bleakness of my situation rather than guys from Dayton, Ohio making songs about how, it's happy hour again.
Dayton, Ohio's pretty bleak.
Yeah, but I don't think that comes through in the music, you know. Okay, so keeping on with the theme, desert island movie. And this is an island that has electricity. Don't even fuck with me on this. There's a television. It's an old cathode ray tube guy. Yeah.
So I almost said Tommy Boy, but I have seen that several hundred times in my life, and I think
What's several hundred more?
right
Stuck in the middle of the
and
South Pacific.
I feel like I think Jim Carrey is the funniest person who's ever lived. I don't think anybody's ever done funnier facial expressions. Are you trying to sell me that watch?
Oh yeah, exactly. No, it's a hot day. It's a hot day for a fat guy.
Sorry for those of you listening. Cole took his watch off completely and then like draped it over his forearm like somebody trying to sell you
Exactly.
a watch.
Like
Anyway.
I'm about to open up my trench coat to show you a little bit of wiener, a little bit of watch collection.
A lot of bit of wiener. So yeah, it would have to be a Jim Carrey movie, and then I was like, Dumb and Dumber, like Ace Ventura. Then I realized it's actually my favorite movie of all time, Cable Guy, because as creepy and weird as that movie is, if you cut that movie up, it's like a bunch of sketches put together. Like the basketball scene.
Yeah.
Where he's
I think
just
that's why
way
it
over
didn't
the
work
top.
with certain people. But
Oh
it's
my
become
God.
a cult film.
Oh, it's so good.
I am surprised you
Cable
went
Guy.
with Jim over Robin. Thought you were going to go Robin Williams on that one.
Yeah, Robin was a little like I think he could get me in my feelings too much. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he
You're
had
watching Good Will Hunting and
yeah, he had the ability to be super real, and I think that's the last thing I would want is to be real.
yeah, exactly. I don't need my dose of existential dread when I'm living in a very real, obviously dreadful situation.
Yeah.
As
It'd be really funny if I picked Castaway though.
Yeah. I have enough mental health problems of my own creation and manufacturing. Once I'm stuck on a desert island, I'll have actual shit to worry about that I didn't create. But yeah, okay, that's a very strong choice and rationale. I'm going with Big Lebowski. I had no deeper analysis because it's just my favorite and it still fits the bill. Because like second or third favorite movies would be things like Usual Suspects or Seven.
Yeah.
Again, back to your point, like don't know if I need that sort of messaging when I'm been stuck by the South Sandwich Islands for 8 years.
Show me the dude. Yeah. Somebody with hair as long as mine.
All right. Shout out to our to one of our listeners, Nick. This is our last Tinderella question for today. What is your desert island jersey?
Oh God, I don't know if I could even narrow it down to one. I think I might have to narrow it down to one per sport.
Oh, geez.
And I'll exclude soccer.
This desert island allowed you to take one of those like Titanic era trunks with you. And it was like 300
Give
pounds.
me 10 jerseys or I'm not going. I think my hockey one, I have Stanley Cup Finals, Sergei Fedorov Red Wings jersey.
Ooh.
That would have to be the hockey one.
Was that like 97?
It's 96 or 7. I can't remember off the top of my head. God damn. Baseball. I have a Hank Aaron Milwaukee Braves jersey.
That's
sweet.
That's pretty special.
Basketball. Oh, boy.
You got Donut?
I do have Oscar Robertson, but it has to be Giannis. It
Yeah.
has to be one of the Giannis.
Somebody that brought
jerseys
you
I
a
have.
ring in the last 50
Yeah.
years. That's valid.
Giannis over everything. Football. This is a little weirder. Do you remember when Vince Young was a Packer for 9 days?
Yeah, for like 1 week of training camp or something.
I have a Vince Young Packers jersey.
That's a custom. That's got to be.
It 100%. The day he signed, I was like, done. Placed an order at the pro shop. Done. Over. There was when Vince Young was on the Eagles. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, when he talked about the dream team.
And they came here. It was either Monday or Thursday night football, but it was a primetime night game during the week, and the Seahawks were playing the Eagles. And my dad had season tickets, and it had to have been Thursday because he couldn't use the tickets, so he let me have them. And so me and two buddies who weren't really Seahawks fans and certainly weren't Eagles fans were like, well, we all have Vince Young jerseys. Let's just all wear our Vince Young jerseys.
There you
so
go.
we had one Texas Vince Young and two Titans Vince Young jerseys. and we were just fucking cheering for Vince Young the whole time. And so it was like pretty much the whole game we were like, Vince Young, like the whole fucking time. And then I don't know, his second drive, Vince Young throws a pick six, and everybody in our section turns around to look at us to like give a shit, and we're all like standing and cheering like, fuck yeah, Vince Young. He's so good, he can throw an incompletion for a touchdown. Like, we're just going fucking bananas. I still have people who were in that section from, that was also the first time I ever got drunk in public that night, and the first time I peed in a public bathroom. It's funny how those two things go together.
Yeah.
And I took one of my midterms that night, fucking sauced after the game. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, I took my SAT drunk, so
But
got a 1910. They don't even score on that scale anymore. Sorry.
I was just trying to remember where I was at because I completely derailed.
We were talking about Vince.
What is your Desert Island jersey?
Probably Yachty, baby blue, your throwback Cardinals jersey. That'd be my number one.
Can you imagine rolling up to what you think is an island you've discovered, and you find
that I'm sitting there in a Yadier Molina jersey?
No, I was going to say,
what a nightmare.
A Neanderthal corpse in a Yadier Molina jersey.
Oh, a sun-bleached skeleton sitting in a cage? Like, what did this guy? Who did he wrong?
He was a Cardinals fan.
That's one of those things that you see in the movies. That's one of those classic hallmarks of, like, don't continue forward. The skeleton in the crow cage. It's like that, or when you see a pair of hands behind the shopkeeper's counter. They punish you here.
Where'd you get those?
Oh, those look pretty dried out. Hey, you got to preserve those. The Midwesterner.
Did you remember to drain the blood out, or?
Listen, I'll tell you a thing or two about embalming. You're going to want to field dress that. All right. On. I forgot you transitioned so naturally into the Vince Young. I fucked it all up. All right, Chris, I don't have a good transition to this one. You had a bit about Amber Alerts. That's going to be hard to soften for the audience.
No, I was just
it made you sound so much more rude.
I was at a comedy show, and luckily it was before the show. This child was abducted. I don't know why I said luckily, but luckily for the comic, it was before the show. Everybody got an Amber Alert. And so, like, everybody's looking down at their phone right at the same time. Except there's, like, a couple people who are not. They're like, what's going on? And one of the guys
got, like, flip phones?
Walked past me, and he's like, what's going on? I was like, oh, it was an Amber Alert. He's like, oh, I turned those off. How fucking selfish of you to turn up, like... I was like, why did you turn them off? He's like, oh, it bums me out. Yeah, big bummer for you, pal. Yeah. Real big bummer for you, that Amber Alert.
Let me tell you who it's a bigger bummer for. Yeah. The person that's in a 92 Chrysler that we're supposed to be looking for.
But isn't that, like, talk about I Spy, but with some real stuff
I told you, and I've never even considered turning them off, but the one instance that proved to me that I never should is I was on a road trip with my buddy to go visit other friends and meet up with other friends in Austin, Texas. So two of us wanted to road trip. Everyone else was going to fly to meet up with the friends we had there. And we drove past Lubbock, and we're in a town of like 20,000 people. And I cannot remember the name at this point. But a fucking Amber Alert goes out for that town of like 20,000 people.
Oh, shit.
And it was the only active one in the country at the time. Now, I didn't find, unfortunately, the Ford Focus or whatever that we were looking, but we were legitimately on the road driving around going, if you see a blue Focus, like, I'm calling the cops immediately.
Talk about a higher stakes game of I Spy.
I've
never heard of one.
Dude, slug bug.
Right.
Yeah. You're getting drilled if I catch the fucking child.
Really liven up the road trip.
Oh, yeah. Now, when you're driving around and you're trying to get through like northern Texas, yeah, you need something to spice it up. But I also like the idea that the guy was maybe in a restaurant or something, and he's like, I'm not going to see a Chrysler in this Denny's. Click. Well, it's not for you this time, asshole. Like, it's maybe next time. I'm watching Born Supremacy. There's no way it's going to come up in this.
I just couldn't think about how fucking selfish. Like, that guy just, like, really bumps me out. It's like, oh, my God, you have no... Oh, man.
I also turn off my tsunami warnings because Fucking bummer, dude. Oh, seek higher ground.
It's the same reason I don't check my blood pressure.
Drive away from the coast.
It's only bad news.
Yeah, exactly. It's always telling me a number that's
Text me when you found him.
Yeah, it's always telling me a number that's like 300 over 200. No. I don't need that info. Chris, you got a new place. Do you have local wildlife? You got any critters that roll around your joint?
Well, I'm having an issue with the crows lately. And the worst part is I can't do anything about it because they're intelligent, right? And they recognize you, so you can't fuck
Smarter
with
than a pellet gun?
I'm not a good shot, Cole. That's kind of the problem. Is I might be able to shoot at them, but will I hit them? And
I've never shot a crow. I just wanted to say that.
It's funny because my grandpa got a talking to in his retirement community because birds kept shitting on his patio and he wanted him to stop.
At Cedar Grove Retirement Community, we do not shoot corvids.
Yeah, he was really taking it to the birds and to the point where the neighbors started being like, "Hey, could you look out for us too? Could you like?" So my grandpa was protecting like 4 houses around him.
I've developed a good relationship with the crows in my neighborhood because I used to get attacked during like mating season. I brought this up once on the podcast, but I had to take a different route to high school from like April to June. You gotta walk up 8th. They don't like it as much. It's fucking busy. Walk up 9th, liable to get... I started thinking about holding a tennis racket in my hand so that when they dive bomb over the shoulder, I could just hold it up. Not to kill them, just to stun.
I like that it's during mating season. We're horny. Get out of here.
Yeah. There's baby crows up here. Do I look like I'm up there? Do I even look like I'm the guy to get up there? All right?
Yeah, this
isn't Almost Heroes.
This guy isn't climbing a tree.
I'm not making a fucking eagle omelet like it's Almost Heroes. I am saying on the ground, firmly fucking planted. But I wanted to talk about the wildlife at my place a little bit. So I feed the squirrels in my neighborhood. Well, actually, I don't know they're from my neighborhood. They could be from any neighborhood. But I feed them a bunch of peanuts.
They aren't wearing blue bandanas?
Yeah, exactly. They don't show. No, I think that they're bloods. But in any case, so I feed them, and then the blue jays also come up. But one day, I'm throwing peanuts out there, saying hi to my squirrel buddies. A rat comes out of nowhere.
Hell no. Hell no. Where's that BB gun? Ugh.
Where's that crossbow that I'm going to use to get killed in the post-apocalypse?
Taking a crossbow to a rat would be such overkill.
Oh, yeah, so absolutely.
It explodes, catches on fire.
I haven't seen this rat since, though. I gotta say, I think he was a tourist. I think he was a passerby, and he's like, "Shit, when in Rome."
Just hang. Right? He's like, "Oh, I guess they got peanuts on offer around here. That's nice."
I will say too, the squirrels and the blue jays coexist because they're like kind of the same size. But I think the rat, that was like. He was outmatched by both. It was more of a house, like a field mouse. So, yeah, it was not going to fucking happen.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a big
still bad
sewer rat.
Fuck, I hate those. Fucking hate them, man. Ugh.
Shows my piece of shit discriminatory nature, though, where it's like, no, but these ones have bushy tails, and you don't. So,
you're a fucking rat.
Take a hike. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to feed blue jays here. Chris, what were your favorite foods when you were a kid?
Of any kind?
Yeah, let it rip. This is, I'm just sort of
mac and cheese,
us into a
pizza, nuggets.
Nice. Yeah. Mac and cheese. So at our house, we had a few of those sort of, this was my...
More like crack and cheese.
Hell.
I'm good for one horrible joke. Minimum per episode.
I eat at least one box of traditional mac and cheese a week.
More like Kraken, please.
Get a better goalie. Hello. But my dad and mom separated when I was like 6, and so my dad went right like dorm food mode. So as a kid, one of my favorites is chili mac. Blue box of macaroni, can of chili.
So wait, your dad went from like you had like a proper dinner to you being like, we're having sides for dinner?
Oh, I don't think I had a proper dinner really in my first
Okay. Well,
20 years or so. Well, okay, except for holidays. Holidays, you got proper dinner. But yeah, I had a lot of
may
cereal
come in a
dinners.
TV tray, but
Listen, your folks are getting liquored up. You know how to make cereal. Figure it out, kid. All right?
oh boy.
You want You want to live or you want to lose?
I'm laughing, but should I be?
I'm here now. But yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things to do, even being able to afford better food. I still got to go back to the chili mac every once in a while, or every once in a while I got to make a cup of noodles and crack an egg into it.
Right.
Just to feel alive again.
That's me with Kraft macaroni and cheese, man. There's so many better mac and cheese options out there, but
right.
I can inhale that shit. Or Tombstone pizza. I don't know why that was the one my parents always got. It was always Tombstone.
Oh, because it's the best one. It's my preferred brand.
I think Frechette is the best one.
See, I like the crispy crust, but Ashley would be on your side for this. She is a soft crust in the frozen game. I am give me like a cardboard crust in the frozen game.
All right. Well, we got here naturally. I think we just need to do Gucci or Greasy right now.
Okay.
Gucci or Greasy, not eating your pizza crust.
I think this is a great question. I hate doing the push, so I'm not going to do the push. I'm going to call it Gucci, but I do have some additional thoughts. Like, it's slightly Gucci because, well, what did I just describe? Like, grow up not wanting to waste food, right?
Yeah.
Like, you grow up in that environment where you don't want to be throwing food away. But also, some of these pizza crusts are just, they're not edible. And also, if I have enough food, do I need to force myself to eat, of all things, a Papa John's pizza crust? Now, if I'm eating Pagliacci or something tasty,
right,
I'm slamming the crust.
Right.
It's highly contingent on how good you make this crust.
So it's interesting because Katie grew up one of 7,000 kids with a single mom, and they didn't want for a lot, but they didn't have a ton.
You don't have a shitload of extra pizza flying
So,
around the house.
flying around. Yeah.
Totally understand.
But she won't eat her fucking pizza crust. She won't. And on the surface, I get it. This is not... You don't go to a concert for the openers, right? That's kind of what the crust is, just there to round out the whole thing. It literally has to exist for the pizza to exist.
Right.
I get why you're just eating the saucy
The main
portion.
event.
Yeah, just the main event. But come on, like
Yeah.
she's the one getting mad at me for like getting rid of extra broccoli or something. I'm like, okay, you're not even eating your pizza. She gives it to the dog though, which is fair. But Moose, I've been trying to work around this whole thing because it drives me nuts that Katie doesn't eat her pizza crusts. And so I finally got stuffed crust.
So you're calling it greasy. Right?
I'm going to say that it's greasy. It's
Okay.
not the greasiest thing in the world. Again, I'm probably closer to the middle on this than this is why we have this segment is for discussion.
All right.
Cole.
All right. I'll see if I can persuade you.
So I got Katie a stuffed crust pizza thinking problem solved. Then you don't have to do the whole thing where you're kind of starting to worry about how much of the like sauce part of the pizza you're leaving with the crust because you want to have the ratio because you don't want to just eat crust. You want to make sure you get some sauce in there too.
All I'm eating are string cheeses rolled up in pizza dough, baby.
So I figure at least if there's cheese in there, it gives you a little more than just crust, right? I'm thinking maybe she'll eat it.
Yeah. Dip it in marinara, you almost got a pizza there.
See, the thing is, she did eat it. But what I was not taking into account was the
Moose betrayal.
Exactly, the trickle-down crust economics. And we had one very betrayed dog.
He was benefiting off government cheese. He cut off the source.
Government crust? Yeah, he was pretty upset about
As he should be.
Us having pizza. He even he kind of sat there looking pretty like, I'm ready for my crust now, mother. And he never fucking got it.
Did you guys give him like a treat afterwards or something that's like, hey, sorry, buddy. I do that sometimes with the dogs. Like sometimes a dog will get a pepperoni that fell and the other one won't. And I'm like, it's treat time. Can't allow this inequity to flourish.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking pepperoni,
not in this
definitely
household.
Can't let that go. But
Yeah.
no, I fed him dinner. I probably should have given him a treat.
Yeah. Moose is a good boy. I will say, like, not to get psychoanalyze it too much, but I wonder if Katie with the pizza crust, it's like me buying shoes where for like 20 years I couldn't afford to buy nice shoes, and then I'm like, I'm buying 20 motherfucking pairs of decent shoes.
I have
like,
a whole Costco pizza at my disposal. Why waste any room on crust?
I could list all the things that I have in my ivory tower, but one thing I don't: pizza crust. Something to that effect.
Oh, damn it. You made me snort.
All right, Chris, there's a couple of risque food items we had to talk about today. We're in the about 20-minute range. Perpetual stew. So
explain to the class what perpetual stew is.
See, this would be a Gucci or Greasy segment in its own right, because I think that this is a fantastic idea, but I know how you feel. Perpetual stew, also known as a master soup. There's a few other terms for it, but basically a soup that has had the same base or some element of the original base for decades. So you keep the stew going, it cooks down because it's always at temp or what, it's not a germ risk, but it is that fucking old, and builds that flavor profile over time. Now it's definitely
gnarly.
Yeah, to our American mind, but I'm saying you got to find some new flavors in there doing things like that. You got to be breaking new ground here.
Right, it seems
this guy is Columbus.
It seems like it would get poisoned by anything you add to it, right? It would ruin it.
Oh no, I mean, I think of it more like a chicken noodle soup. You kept going and going, and then every day, you throw more water.
Stew is just kind of like what you got in the fridge. At least that's what stew's always been.
I think
for
we
me.
might be getting hung up on the terminology here a little bit, because I don't think it's like Dinty Moore across the board. I think we've got a little
weird
more
because
variety.
the stew part's definitely throwing me. Because what is it with like dough or whatever for bread or like pizza places? They'll have like, I forget what it's called, but when they
like your sourdough starter can be hundreds of years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like whatever that is, a dough starter, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that, I don't know why that doesn't
Yeast.
bother me. Yeah, it's just yeast. Maybe because it's not wet.
That's valid. And there's a reason, there's that reptilian part of our brains that remembers things that got us sick 1,000 years ago.
What do you mean this food's 90 years old? What?
Yeah, that's the part of your brain reasonably going, are we sure here? But there is a burger joint too. And this I do find revolting.
Oh no, this cannot end well.
You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this. And I wish I could remember the name and location. I read a meme the other day that was like, the closest you can get to feeling like a ghost is a guy on a podcast not knowing a piece of trivia that you know the answer to. So I apologize for not having this on hand, but there is a burger joint that famously deep fries their burgers. So they put the patty, in the fry-a-lator like you would French fries. They throw a little cheese on there, bring it up, so it's this, dripping.
Don't tell me
crazy
it's
burger.
been the same grease this whole time.
That's exactly where
That's
we're going.
horrific.
Now that I do agree is horrific, because I think that's a little.
There could be
that
fucking
feels
maces
different.
in there just now. Oh my
Well,
god.
and the oil is like black. The thing is that the perpetual stews we're describing, if you were to, so much of it gets used every day. If you were to, oh god. Yeah, Dyer's Burgers. Thank you. Memphis, Tennessee.
Of course it's Memphis.
So, Elvis, baby.
Yeah.
So, when they changed locations, I believe it was in the 50s, there's actually photos of it. They moved the fryer grease to the new location under lock and key and under police supervision. Presumably more for like the Barnum and Bailey, like, we'll do this for the publicity of like, oh, we got cops guarding our
Nobody's taking my grease.
Yeah, it's like nobody wants it. That's going to eat through the stitching in my fucking shoes, but all right.
Oh my god, that sounds like it would instantly clog an artery.
If we actually ever take off with the podcast, now we got to go to Dyer's Burgers.
Fuck
We
no.
just got to.
Hard fucking no. I'm not touching that, dude. Or perpetual stew. They can both die in a fire.
Perpetual
That is
stew, I think I can get you to.
I
I think I can get you
wonder,
to try, but the
speaking of
Dyer's
fires,
Burgers.
I wonder if that would be like the greasiest grease fire ever if that happened. Like, does it just get?
It would be like that Centralia mine fire we talked about 3 weeks ago.
It just burns for.
Been burning for 40 years.
They just closed Memphis.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
All right, Chris. I think I could convince you. I feel like I could bring you into some new food horizons. Although I've not had a perpetual stew myself, I would just be enthusiastic to give it a
So I know
whirl.
there's another thing we're about to talk about, and I'll
Yeah.
say I'm fully against perpetual stew, though not nearly as opposed as this godforsaken burger place. This next thing we're about to talk about is one of the most horrendous things I've ever even heard of.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly, but I do think again there are grades to it. There are, and what we're talking about is head cheese. I think that there are
Couldn't have come up with a better name at minimum.
completely agree with you there. No
Let's just
disagreements.
head cheese, I guess.
Especially when the term head meat is right there. Does it roll off the tongue as well? Maybe not, but that's what it is, and it sounds
Carne
more appealing.
cabeza.
Yeah, I mean, because the problem with head cheese is not what it's made out of. The problem is that you put it in aspic and you put it in a loaf. An aspic, for the kids at home that aren't aware, is just the fat that you leave in your pan that gets nice and gooey. That's not actually what it is, but it's gelatinous fat. It is like truly a jello.
And what
type
is head
meat fat.
cheese for all the...
So there's a few ways to make. I mean, this is just me citing things off of like watching Andrew Zimmern, but you boil the head of, say, a pig and scrape the good meat and the whatnot. And in theory, like if you were to get that fat and that meat, chop it up, make a face taco, it would be very tasty. I've had it before. I can tell you it works. But when you mix all this stuff and you put
Face taco even.
you put it in the gelatinous. Well, it doesn't.
Wait, is that what this open face taco has been this whole time?
No, that's the Leatherface taco. Related but different food group. Yeah, I do agree with you though. It's a very like Midwest thing. It's not odd food to a lot of people, but there's also a reason that you're never going to see it on a menu in your whole life. Boar's Head makes one, and I've tried it, and it's fine, but it's still one of those things. It's an acquired taste, like liverwurst, or just one of those, or liver and onions, something that people ate in the 50s but don't eat as much now.
Liver and onions. Holy Christ, that sounds like the stinkiest meal possible.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my grandma hated it, but when my mom would come to town, she'd be like, "I want you to make liver and onions," and my grandma's like, "We worked a long time so that we wouldn't have to do this, but okay." And she would begrudgingly make it for my mom, once a year. And I always tried to be the kid that's not going to turn down food, like not be a little shit and be like, "Nah, I don't like that." Liver and onions was a challenge. Me and my cousin Tyler, the one in Brazil, Tyler was like, "Cole, you just gotta Kolpy. You just gotta yellow mustard it, dude. It'll hide everything.
That'll solve a lot of problems."
Well, because she had really nicely. My grandma's a great cook. She had really nicely like caramelized onions. But when you're taking like a full spoonful of that for every bite of liver, you run out of onions with a quickness.
My grandpa loves onions. Loves onions. He grew up. He spent about half his time in Virginia, and they didn't have a whole lot of money, and it was like the Great Depression, right? And so he ate a lot of onion, and apparently ate onion sandwiches, which was, I thought, a joke when he first said it. And he's like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Onion, just onion?" And he's like, "Yeah, onion, bread."
What about the mayo? You got mayo?
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "No, I just eat onion."
I don't know if anything made me realize how hard times were during World War II than understanding that Miracle Whip was created as a cost-saving alternative to mayonnaise. When life has got you down and mayonnaise costs too much, Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
Yeah, because eggs had gotten to absurd levels.
Man, another thing about this is a kind of an offshoot from that, but my grandpa grew up in Virginia, right? And whenever he would take my grandma back, it seemed like there was always some weird. She's from Philadelphia. She was like the city.
My folks
like
on my dad's side.
There's
too.
a bit of a hurdle with her going to the South, and like, there's an outhouse or like things like that.
Yeah.
And I guess one time, my grandma was just kind of hanging out with my great grandmother. Anyway, they're like, "Well, we're gonna go get ham," and my grandma was like, "Okay, well, I'll go get ready and we can go get some ham." And I guess my great grandma was like kind of confused about it, And then my grandma comes back downstairs and she's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And they're like, okay, well, we're just going downstairs. And they went into the basement and they just fucking hang it in the basement for months and then just cut off the kind of gross parts.
Yeah.
They're making their own fucking gnarly. I guess I get it.
It's the way it goes. You know, my folks grew up on a farm in Minnesota, but when you're detached from the way that your food gets produced.
Seems like some Ed Gein shit to me, man.
Very weird. Well, I mean, when they came on Ed's house, when they showed up, when the patrol officer walked in, thought that it was a field-dressed deer.
Salted shopkeeper.
Was a lady. The classic 1-2. The classic switcheroo. It's not a deer at all.
Meanwhile,
that's
the
Gwendolyn.
deer is minding the shop.
Nice. That's our best joke of the episode. Chris, I'm going to save this etymology one for next time because we do have a few This Week in History things I want to talk about, and we'll see where we end up after that.
Okay. How much time we have?
About 10 minutes. So, June 9th, 1973, Secretariat wins the Triple Crown. Are you into horse racing at all?
Like I said, I think horses are kind of dumb. And I think, like, horse race people are even dumb. What is this, 1930? What are you doing? Like, where's your
It's kind of an old way to be rich and evil.
Like, right.
Like, there's more modern ways to, like, harm animals and stuff.
Right. I went once with a girl I was dating, and it was kind of cool to go do the thing because it's a thing to go do. And then I was like, this is just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, there's something weirdly masturbatory about it, too. Like, the guy who rides the horse is fucking getting all this fame from riding a fucking horse. All you did was sit on this thing and let it run.
That's why I said Secretariat.
And then you're being a jerk to the fucking horse. And then the fucking
gotta beat the shit out of it.
People who bet on horses, man. I wasn't a fan of that. I get betting on stuff, so I'm not gonna knock the thing entirely. But, like, I don't know. Bet on chicken fights or something. Horse racing.
Either one of those, you're betting on something probably dying. So cockfight, horse race. Yeah. Either way. Horse racing is very much not in my DNA. It's one of those things, I think as being a boxing fan, there's only one thing that you can be a fan of from 100 years ago, and that's mine. I'm a boxing fan.
See, boxing's
watching
cool.
it on black and white, you know, and just like Kentucky Derbies are meant to be enjoyed before the advent of television, you know, listening to it on the radio. But I will say, if there was ever one thing I was going to do, it'd be bet on the fucking horses.
Right.
That's
if
the
I'm
one
going
part
to be
that
here, I'm
speaks
going to
to
bet. That's exactly what I did do. I just feel like if you like are a person who bets on horses, you wear a suit every day with a weird hat kind of tilted, and you talk about this like, see?
Oh, yeah.
That's my horse there, Whisperer.
Yeah. You're buying your newspaper from a kid that's going, extra, extra, read all about it. Secretariat getting murdered. All right. We'll move on to the next one. June 12th, 1939, the Baseball Hall of Fame opens in Cooperstown, New York. Who is your all-time favorite baseball player? This isn't going to be a comedy category. This is just fun.
No, this is going to be kind of hard because it's probably Hank Aaron. I got a big soft spot for Mickey Mantle because he was all just Mickey Mantle all around.
He was like Mike Finchon playing baseball.
Right, because it's not even just the player. It's like that guy was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like Paul Horning of, you know, it's that type of thing.
Yeah, when we were at the when you took me to the Packers Hall of Fame and his draft card says likes the girls in all caps and it's underlined.
There's everything in the Packers Hall of Fame. I'm shocked that they didn't have one of his condoms. This is Paul Horning's Jimmy.
This is his jock strap he cut a hole in for I won't finish.
Also really hard to not say Ken Griffey Jr. I think he's the coolest baseball player there's ever been.
He is the coolest baseball player.
I think it's hard for me to not say Hank Aaron, so I'm just going to say those three. Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I don't think any of those have any...
All outfielders.
There's no issue with any one of those. All of those are functionally correct. So for me, I think I've got an answer that's... I think I've got my Cardinals answer, which again would be Pujols, would be Molina, but Pujols, that's always the debate in my mind, is what's the greater Cardinal during my lifetime. So I do end up sitting on Molina. Now, the other two I'm going to name, so Griffey's one of them for the same reasons, and being in Seattle forever. But coolest pitcher ever, you're wearing the jersey. Pedro's always been just the guy for me because, especially for the contemporaries that were great pitchers as well, Clemens.
I can't believe you're not saying Bob Gibson. He's a Cardinal, and
I'll never.
He was a prick in the funniest possible way.
Oh, absolutely. But I could never choose. I always make fun of guys for wearing like a Babe Ruth jersey to a Yankees game. And Bob Gibson isn't quite that bad. Like, he pitched in color, at least, as opposed to, like,
Racist.
Again, being like a... Jesus Christ. As opposed to being like a strict radio, phenomenon where it's like, we have pictures of Babe Ruth, but still, I never got to see him. Even Ozzie Smith, I never really got to see him. So it's hard, or Stan Musial. There's a few guys in Cardinals history you can choose, but I got to go with the guys I know.
If I'm counting my Brewers bias, Robin Yount's pretty cool, but it's Prince Fielder.
Yeah,
Prince
is the coolest of the Brewers that I ever got to see. I mean, CC's half season aside, because I do love me a dominant pitcher, even though CC's the opposite mold, right? I was saying I loved Pedro because he was small in this era of power pitchers that were phenomenal. CC was the ultimate power. That guy weighs 3 bills. Like, that guy's pitching 7 innings, 120 pitches.
Dude, and he hit 2 home runs. He hit like 220 or something with a couple
Not
bombs.
bad. Not bad.
There's one game against the Pirates where if Bill Hall hadn't made an error, which they ruled a hit, he would have had a perfect game with a home run, which I think only Clayton Kershaw's done in my life, at least.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of the most random story. I was doing a show at the Comedy Underground, and there was this girl in the front row, man. And the whole time I was on stage, I just felt like she was looking at me. And so
it's because you were on stage.
I don't know. She was just looking at me.
I'm talking to the microphone. She's laughing at what I say. It's like, are you sending me signals?
Yeah, she's clearly trying to bone. But so yeah, afterwards she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to this club. Do you want to come with?" And here I'm like, the luckiest day of my life. I'm not. Fox can send me a check. I'm out of here. I'm not waiting to get paid. I'm out of here. And so we go to this club, and I'm dancing with this girl, and I look over in the VIP booth, and I recognize this guy, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? No way. I start looking, and she's, like, starting to get mad at me because she's, like, on fire, and I'm, like, looking in the VIP booth, and I realized the Texas Rangers were in town. And I was like, holy shit, that's Giovanni Gallardo. That is Brewers legend and all-time strikeout leader, Giovanni Gallardo. And so we go outside to I needed to stop sweating. Maybe she needed me to stop sweating too. I don't know.
The steam coming off of you.
But we go outside, and then Giovanni comes out, and at this point I lose it because I'm just excited because I loved Giovanni Gallardo. And I was like, Giovanni! And he looked at me, and I didn't have a follow-up. I was just like, hey! And he was like, hi. And he went back to, like, the 3 women he was with.
We had a very similar experience. I was in Vegas for the Mayweather-McGregor fight, and we're playing at a table at the Mirage that is, like, weirdly empty, and the tables near it are empty. So it's seemingly only 6 of us there. It's like the 5 people in the group, or 4 people in the group, and then the dealer, Steve Levy, walks by. Because this is a massive fight. And I tell Ashley, we're all hammered. I'm like, Ashley, that's Steve Levy. And she's like, who the fuck is that? He's on SportsCenter and stuff.
Steve.
Well, like, I'm pretty sure it's him. And she's like, well, let's find out. Hey, Steve! Steve Levy turns around and we're all like, shit, like teenagers. Oh, God, he saw us. And he just does the most annoyed. Turns around and walks off.
Have I told my Randy Johnson story on here before?
I don't think so, but I think we're...
I'll tell the story and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
So Randy Johnson came to the Comedy Underground, and it was when I was managing. So I was seating people, and it was a late show, and so I'm like, it's hard to turn the room in a half hour after there's 130 people in there. And so, like, I'm helping out the wait staff, and then I got to start seating people. So I'm, like, usually not looking. I'm just trying to get people through as quickly as I can. And I sense this presence. Like
of a 6'10" man.
Yeah, right. And he hands me his ticket, and I look it up at him, and I just went, "You're Randy Johnson." And he went, "Okay."
It sounds like him.
And I was like, "You probably want to sit, huh?" And he just went, like, put his hands out, like, "Yeah, why do you think I'm here?" And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. And so I went and I put him in the back. I noticed he ordered a Heineken, so then I ordered him his next Heineken. And of course, I'm like, well, I'm going to do a guest spot on this show. Yeah. And so I was just like playing to the left corner of the room where he was the whole time.
Kept positioned with your back against the right.
Yeah, I'm like, Randy, did you think that joke was fun? Anyway, so I'm just like completely playing him. I know I made him laugh once, and I can't explain to you what Randy Johnson's laugh sounds like because I'm sure nobody's ever heard it, but I did. It was just the sound of a bird dying.
The sound of a gargoyle walking, if you know what that sounds like.
But then he was ducking out early, like before the show ended for fair reasons. Didn't want to get caught up in everybody like, oh, hey, that's Randy Johnson.
Yeah. He's been to a comedy show.
Which kind of sucked because I knew he liked Rush, so the playoff song that I had for the end, like to play.
Oh, you're talking about the band. I thought you were talking about the amyl nitrates. Loves it.
Yeah, he loves it. No, the band with 13-minute songs. So I had that queued up to play when the show ended. But anyway, he came back and he'd had a couple Heinekens, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are great. You guys are so funny." And he was like, started talking to us. I made a joke about his height, not even thinking about the fact that he hates being teased about his height, which I get because I'm sure it happens all the time. He was like, "Oh, come on, man!" Like that's all I got. What I'm pretty sure
you dodged a bullet.
I saw him punch a cameraman in New York, so I'm pretty sure
that means he liked you, Chris. You're allowed to get away with that one.
But I was wearing a Brewers jersey. He's like, "Brewers," and I was like, "We gave you your first career home run. Like, what do you?"
Oh shit! See, that's a detail I didn't know. I was about to say.
I was like, we
never gave your city a team.
Yeah, I was like, we've never been competitive. Like, what do you? What? He's like, "Oh, I'm just giving you shit, Robin. Yeah, it's cool." And yeah, we talked to him for a little while. I got a picture, and it was funny because I've heard so many people say he's a jerk. I've heard so many people say he's nice, and I got both.
Yeah,
like he was kind of a jerk up front, and then he was super nice after.
Well, he's got that hard exterior,
Made me hard, that's for sure. Yeah, it was really cool.
And then he's got the hard candy shell. And then
it's your brand
soft
has
in the
shell on it. All right, well, I think that's it. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
We out of time? Hot Jake?
We're good.
Got Hot Jake on the ones and twos. He wants us to get out of here, though, so we're going to have to cut this one off because Jake wants us to get out of here. He's probably got California or a baseball game to go to. So
I need key 31 for the bathroom.
Yeah, Cole has to go rock a piss. Anyway, you guys, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun for us to do. Hopefully you're enjoying listening as much as we are doing it. We've got our koozies and stickers and whatnot on sale. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. Add us on Facebook. I don't fucking care. Just
woo.
We love you guys. Thanks.